All right, Matthew Oliver bringing you Oliver's updates, giving you information about Placer County and beyond. And I know you get all your good national news from great resources, but where do you find out what's happening in Placer County? Right here, right now. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, all the important stuff you're supposed to do, because I never want you to miss out on one of my amazing guests when we are getting good information about what is going on right here in the heart of Placer. And right now, with me today is Sir Richard Pearl from Lincoln City Council. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing just fine, Matthew. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're on. I'm glad that you're on the Lincoln City Council.
Yeah, as you know, I've been involved with Lincoln City politics for quite a while now.
Yeah.
I ran actually in 2010 and lost. It was a crazy year.
I did not know that.
I did. I lost to Stan Nader. And,
okay.
And then I got involved with the city because my background is in public administration and working with cities and counties, primarily in California, telling them how to cut costs, how to raise revenue legally, what a concept. And how then to become more efficient in the delivery of services to people. So
yeah.
I retired from that business after 35 years. And then I moved down to Lincoln in 2008, got in right in the heart, right at the beginning, of course, of the Great Recession.
Yeah.
Lincoln was going through an incredible decline. And then I got involved with them, and I never left. I mean, to me, there's a lot of good things that we're doing. I mean, so I've been here for a number of the bad times, and now I think we're really starting on a new trajectory here, and it's an upward trajectory, and we're just having a ball doing it, frankly.
Yeah. Well, I want to get into all the Lincoln deeds because I have a lot of Lincoln stuff. People don't know I am Lincoln knowledgeable. We're going to dig these wells of Lincoln. But talking about California and things. Well, first off, did you know, you probably knew this, that Sutter Roseville Medical Hospital or Medical Center was named one of America's 50th best hospitals.
I heard that.
In the nation. Yes. Yeah. Sutter.
Yeah.
Right here in River City.
Yep.
I don't think we're River City, but that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this is such a great area economically, and as you know, we're just booming, and we're just set to continue to go. The biggest challenge that I see that we have, and not just in Lincoln, but also my colleagues in Rockland and Roseville and Loomis.
I know what you're going to say.
It's how we manage this growth. That's the key. It's got to be smart.
Well, let's talk about, let's just rip a Band-Aid off a problem. What are we doing with the 65? Because I'm going to tell you, it is so bad.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was very disappointed in the outcome. It needed a 2/3 vote. Lincoln came through with 68%.
Wow.
Rockland and Roseville took it down. I think the end was 63%, and it did 66. So
just missed it.
Well, it missed it by 2 or 3 percentage points.
Wow.
And it was those people, I think people voted against it because they didn't see the benefit to them. But frankly, it is a benefit even if you don't use 65. Because where do you think the people are going? They're going on the side streets of Rockland. They're going on the side streets of Roseville. And so they're impacting those roads over there. And we know for a fact that Placer County is such a marvelous place to be. People are coming here all the time, and they're going to continue to need transportation.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get out of our cars and go into buses or light rail anytime in the near future.
No.
So we need to position ourselves so that we can accommodate that growth well. We didn't do it this time. We didn't do it the last time either, about 8 years ago.
Yeah, and so I can't imagine it's going to be on the ballot anytime soon.
Probably not in the next 6 or 8 years. Now, there's a couple options which I've heard. I don't know. I don't want to be inside track, but I've heard that there is some grant money available. They might be able to put in a small lane, another feeder lane going south on the west side between Pleasant Grove and Galleria. There's also another option, and that's to do a toll road.
I absolutely think we should do a toll road. 100%. Or we do you do the lane, the toll lane. Right. Even if they gave everybody who has a registered car in Placer County a pass, and all it was is a toll for out-of-towners. There are ways to get it done, and I think we have smart people in office. Right now I was looking at best places to live in California. Did you know that Folsom, California came in #1?
I didn't know that, but I lived in Folsom about 20 years ago.
You can believe it.
And so it's changed now dramatically, but I can see, and I go there occasionally. Yeah. So I understand why it's such a great place to live, why people love it.
And Rockland came in number 9. And that is huge because I'm going to tell you. And then Roseville came in number 12. These are big numbers in California. Now, I know that their schematics, how they did it, Lincoln probably didn't have the population numbers to qualify, but that's pretty good. You guys are surrounded by number 9, number 12 of best places.
Yeah. And as you know, right now we're at 53,000 people. Our general plan has us going to probably about 100 to 110,000 people by 2050.
Wow.
So we're going to be experiencing a lot of growth without a doubt. And what that's going to have to come, we're going to need the proper type of commercial infrastructure. We're going to have to do it intelligently. We don't want to lose the identity of Lincoln. No community really wants to lose the identity, but we have such a core identity that goes back more than 100 years. And we don't want to lose that. So as we grow, we want to make sure that we're doing it intelligently, that new growth pays for itself, which it didn't always do in Lincoln, frankly.
Nope.
But it pays for itself, and we retain that identity. And that's the whole idea behind the village concept. But it has to be anchored to a solid downtown. And that's one of the biggest challenges we have. How do we revitalize? Because it really is a revitalization of our downtown area.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I was excited that you ran, and I'm excited that you won, because when I was in Lincoln with a business, you were such a great advocate, a great supporter, somebody who really, not just for our business, but for businesses, trying to get people to work together and get everything kind of moving in the right direction. And I'm going to tell you, I love that downtown.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it the moment we went in there. Some people don't know how we got there. We landed there because I went during COVID and was talking about how these mandates were hurting businesses, and the business that was in there, Double Barrel, had to close because of COVID and because of not making it. And I just happened to be down there filming when the owner of Double Barrel and the owner of the building, Leon, happened to be there at the same time. And came out and talked to her. I just said, hey, what can I do to help? And Leon gave me his number and said, let's talk. And then we ended up opening up there. And people don't know. They thought, oh, do we have a bad taste of Lincoln in our mouth? No, we have a great, Lincoln treated us so well, like just the best. And we had a great time doing business. The reason we had to go had nothing to do with Lincoln or nothing to do with business, had to do with 100-year-old plus building that's fallen apart. I haven't shared this much with people, but there was an issue. We had to eventually shut down because you would flush the toilet on the 3rd floor and it would rain on the 2nd floor. You can't, I don't know if people know health code, but that's not
not
air. It doesn't work.
That's not good.
And the amount of money, our last PG&E bill in that building was almost $17,000. And I'm just going to tell you, I love Lincoln, and I loved being there, but between it raining, like we didn't know how to incorporate that into the experience.
Rain farts.
The rain.
Palm plants around. It would have been just perfect.
We just find a way to make it work. But my understanding is Rockstar Music Academy has opened up there, and they've got great plans. And I've talked with Steve. He's a blessing to the community.
Yeah. I mean, both you guys are promoters. You understand that side of the business. That's what it takes. That business is very difficult to run as a restaurant. It is. It has to be an entire package, and that's what you wanted to do. I know when you were there. And you opened it in the
tough times.
Tough times.
Yep.
I was one of your very first customers there.
We appreciate it.
And we had a great time.
And probably one of my very last customers. But, I wish him the best. And I love, from the gun shop to Taekwondo to everybody down there. I am just, and I constantly look and I'm amazed. There's something new opening up. You just had that one building open it up. It's a little cafe.
That's the Easy Company.
Easy Company.
Actually, there's 2 open up. I think we had a grand opening on both days. On Saturday, we had East Avenue Cafe.
Yeah.
Owned by Grace Life.
Yeah, great. The church down there. Great. I've been there.
It's great. And the person who operates it, Pastor Mark Shepard, which is a great name for a pastor, isn't it? I mean, it's just fabulous.
Mark Shepard.
Yes. And he is just a fabulous guy.
I've
so,
met him. He
yes,
made my cup of coffee. It was made with love and
yes,
care.
right, yeah.
And then Easy Company, they took a building that I never would have thought you could turn into such an amazing space.
Yeah. It's taken them 2.5 years to do it.
Wow.
So they're still figuring it out. I mean, they're really good people. I think that it's going to be, we need to bring people downtown, and that's what it is to experience what we have. And we're making haste slowly. I have to say that, but we're moving forward.
Hey, we're moving fastly in a slow way. It's like the 65.
Like 65.
But what you have, in my mind, I think Placer County is blessed, but you have one of the best city managers. You have an amazing city manager to get things done.
Yeah. Well, my business was in helping local government for decades.
Yeah.
So I have seen so many city managers, town administrators, county CAOs. Sean is one of the best that I've seen. And I think one of the reasons is he understands people. He understands business. He understands how to get things done. He knows how to marshal a team.
Yeah.
But I think one of the biggest things is he knows how to allow people to make mistakes. One of the problems in government is that you're never applauded for doing even the smallest thing right, but you sure get dumped on, when anything goes wrong. And Sean understands that if you want to push the envelope a little bit, you've got to be prepared to fail. You learn from your failures, as you know. We all know that, have been in business. And you move forward. You learn from your mistakes, you move forward. But you have to be able to take a risk. You have to want to take the risk.
I love that.
And that's that I think is one of his strongest points.
I would say also one of the things I love about him is he doesn't walk around with an ego.
No.
He's one of the humblest, just sweet, affable, loving guys. And I can't go on without also mentioning your legal there in the city of Lincoln. She is a pit bull. She is awesome.
Yes, she is. And I'm finding out even more in the private sessions before the council meeting, where she doesn't have to be quite as politic as she does.
I'll tell you.
Christine is just fabulous.
She does a great job. So tell me what one of the highlights, something, I mean, you've only been there a couple months, but one of the highlights of what you've done, what you've seen, what you've experienced since you've been in.
Well, we're just starting. We're coming up now on our new 2-year biennium budget. So that'll set the direction for the next couple of 2 years. But then our new, she's not new anymore, Anita Racker, our finance director / assistant city manager, she is also putting in place a 2-year budget and a 3-year outlook. And the reason that's important is because the decisions that we make today in 1 year are going to be impacting 2, 3, 5, and even longer period of time. So the city council truly has to understand what the implications are rather than stovepiping, a decision. Well, it's fine for today, and don't think about the implications of a couple of years from now. And so that's why it's important. But some of the big things that we're dealing with, we know that in 28, 29, we're going to have a couple of $1 million roll off from the tax sharing agreement with the county. ARPA money is already gone. We use virtually all of that money for public safety.
Yeah, police and fire.
Police and fire. We have to backfill that somehow. That's probably the biggest challenge. We're doing some groundwork at this point to see what the options are. Now, as you know, things don't go quickly on the upswing, but they sure go quickly on the downward, right?
Yeah, they do.
So right now, Lincoln is primarily dependent on property tax. Property tax, the good news is it doesn't go down very quickly, but it doesn't go up very quickly either. Really, it's all sales tax in California. So we have to decide how we're going to get new businesses here. So replacing that money is one challenge. Another challenge is our lighting and landscaping districts. Again, a problem that was started decades ago.
Yeah.
We have to fix that because some people are paying nothing at all at this point. Other people are paying not enough. And some are, right now, they're probably overpaying, but
more.
But those monies will be needed in the future. So, I mean, that's another challenge.
Yeah, getting business. The nice thing with Lincoln is you have room for business. You have a lot of room. One of the tough things I know when I've ran for Rockwood City Council is we're running out of land. And we keep taking our business land and rezoning it for housing. Well, like you just mentioned, the property tax is great, but it doesn't do what business tax can do, sales tax can do. And you really want that revenue. And because once you built that house and you built those, it's gone. So you want to protect those for your businesses. And you guys have one of my favorite things, though, in Lincoln. You guys have the Potters. I mean, you don't have to go to Sacramento. You don't have to go downtown and fight traffic. You can see a baseball team right here in your backyard.
I was at their opening game a couple of days ago. I think it was last Saturday.
Yeah.
It was a fabulous day opening. Clifton Taylor and the whole Potter team was just outrageously good. I think they're still undefeated at this point. And
do you guys still do fireworks?
Yes. Yeah.
It just makes it feels right.
You know, and the other thing is it's very inexpensive. All the seats are good. Now we've got shade. We're now in the process of ginning up money for a bigger scoreboard. We need a real scoreboard. That'll be good. So if anyone wants to contribute,
they can do it.
They can do it. You bet. We'll take all the money. Actually, the city just donated, I think, $100,000 towards that because we think that the Potters are such an investment for us. They bring people downtown, and all that spillover. I mean, they come downtown. I live in Sun City, and so for me, it took 10 minutes to get home.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes to get there, 10 minutes home. If you live in Rockland or Roseville, maybe 20 minutes. I mean, and you're out. It's a great family place. Just to see the kids out there and the families having so much fun is just worth it.
It's a worth it investment, I'll tell you, from a business that was downtown. Anytime they'd have a game, we won.
Right.
It was their win was our win, and that is just such an awesome thing. So, what has been one of the difficulties? I know the challenge you talked about. Hey, we're growing. We've got to deal with fire, life safety issues. We got to deal with this. But what is one of the things that was kind of unexpected that's kind of caught you off guard a little bit?
But nothing at this point, and I've only been on there for 5 months, right? So nothing really has caught me off guard because I've been plugged into Lincoln politics and what's going on for quite a number of years. But the challenges we have are how to revitalize the downtown. We've now we've taken over the main street, Lincoln Boulevard here, but we've got a lot of heavy duty traffic on there, the trucks, and we have to find a way that to work with our business community, but to make it a walkable, livable, breathable downtown. Now, Clifton Taylor is doing something very interesting right across from City Hall. He's putting up the first new building downtown, I think, in 25 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's going to be businesses on the ground floor and studios and one-bedroom apartments on the second floor. I mean, I'm a New York City boy, so I understand vertical. I mean, to me, give me vertical and give me concrete, and I'm happy. So we've got to learn how to blend all that together into a downtown that really focuses on being who we are. It's a great small town that it's going to be good, big size.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, one of my frustrations when I was there is sometimes, I could get, even on the 65, I could get to my exit 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. But then to get from the exit to downtown could take me, and we're talking a very short distance, could take me another 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And I would talk to people and they'd be living in Lincoln, but near the exit, and they would say it's easier for them to go on the 65 and go down to the fountains, which we are now at, and than it would be for them to get downtown. So it's figuring out, because when you hit that little bridge and it's just that 2-lane and it just bottlenecks right there.
Yeah. Well, it's
we
good
need to build that bridge.
That's the way the cities were. And so we have to figure out a way to do it. A lot of cities have done it, so we're not really remaking the wheel. We're going through a whole study right now of how to reposition the downtown. Yeah. And it's got to be a holistic approach from a very large, taking into account what we have and really what we want to be. One of the things that I love being on the city council is that you really are forced to, you should look decades into the future.
I love that.
When we're in business, most of our activity is geared to tomorrow and the next month and the next quarter and the next year. A little bit is designed to look into the future, because if you don't know where you're going, you'll never get there, right? On a city council or a board of supervisors, you really are impacting generations to come. And that's a huge responsibility. And so when and I know my colleagues look at this, when development comes to us, we say, how do we want that to look for the future generations, 2 and 3 generations from now? And that's an awesome responsibility, for which I think we get $8,000 a year.
Well, one of the things I love, we joke about, Loomis had the Eggplant Festival, now the Fruit Shed Festival, but Lincoln has the Lincoln Car Show, which is
8,000 plus people are going to be there on June 7th, a week from this coming Saturday.
That's massive. That's tons.
I spoke with Tom Andreary this morning, the CEO. They already have 400 cars signed up. They'll get another 100 cars each.
Wow.
Whole downtown is going to be nothing but fabulous cars.
Downtown's not words enough. It's blocks upon blocks upon blocks of cars. So you guys, that's great. You do your big Christmas parade down there. Where
And the 4th of July parade.
And the 4th of July parade. I mean, Lincoln is truly that home feel, that community feel. It's amazing. And I'm wishing you the best of luck. And I was thinking about it, you're talking about looking in the future. Right now, you have a team on your current city council, but Holly Andriotta is looking at running for Board of Supervisors.
Right.
And part of what sparked this is the gathering in, kind of stealth under the shadow of night, purchasing a building right in downtown, right near parks and schools, for not just the homeless, but for like a rehab center, medical center of some sort. I guess still to be known, to be determined, but right down there without any communication. And what at first was no communication with the city. No one knew about it, but then maybe people did know about it. And where are you at? Can the city even, I know you guys are in legal battle right now are you in legal battle with the gathering in?
Yes, and of course, we've submitted issued a suit, and Western Placer School District has issued a suit also.
Oh, the school district did as well?
Sure, because they're within 1,000 feet of, I think, 2 schools.
Oh, my goodness.
It's in the legal hands at this point. The judge was originally supposed to issue a preliminary ruling of how she thought the process was going to go. I think it was going to come out in April, then it was coming out in May. Now we understand that it's going to be, I think, June 17th or in the 20, something like that. But I mean, so we'll know better at that point. The discovery has gone on.
But this isn't about homeless, really, is it? I mean, we have a heart for homeless.
That's correct. And as we think that Lincoln has one of the best stories to tell about actually using our own money to combat homelessness, to work with the people. As you know, so many other communities, they're happy to take federal and state dollars and then use that to buy motels and hotels and turn that into a
Holiday Inns.
$250,000 per room. How they do that, I have no idea how you can spend that amount of money.
Okay. They'll find a way in government.
And they did. But we've actually used our own money, and so we're working with some of the local churches. We've actually taken 6 trailers. We're using 3 of them right now from the county that they got from the state, and we're working with people, got them out of the creek. They're there. The people that we in the trailers, they're all gainfully employed at this point. That means they're paying taxes. They're going through the rehab process. At one point, we had about 20 some odd people in the creek, in the Auburn Creek area. We made sure that there were no other places. Originally, for years, they were scattered all over the city, primarily downtown. They were encouraged to go down to the creek at that point, so at least we can work with them, and there's a central spot there.
Sure.
At that point, one point, they got a little bit out of boundary, a little frisky.
Yeah, a little emboldened.
And then we said, our favorite pit bull said, that's it, and so we just pulled the hammer. Surprisingly or unsurprisingly, there's no one down there anymore, by the way. They're all gone. All gone.
Oh, wow.
They're not downtown. And to our knowledge, some have gone out of the area.
Yeah.
Some are now housed, but they're housed at the county jail. But others have gone to people because there are direct ties to them into the community.
Yeah, family.
So we have worked with our community. We've worked with the salt mine. The city has put $300,000 into that structure to help our homeless. And we've got a great people to work with them. Our code enforcement people are working with them.
So did you feel like the city needed this, the gathering in right down there?
Absolutely not. I mean, and this is, as I said, we're still in litigation. Personal opinion, my biggest problem with it was a lack of transparency. I mean,
And why weren't they transparent? Why did they not want to talk to you guys and work with you? You guys have been so keen to work with everybody who wants to work with you.
Well, if you're smart, you learn from mistakes. And they learned from the mistakes in Roseville where they did what they should have done. Transparent, talk to the city council, engage the community, and the community said no.
Okay.
And so then they just turned around and they had the state money, and they used it.
Now, evidently, they did talk to somebody. I mean, there's this big hubbub going on that this Board of Supervisors, Shanti Landon, had met with them, and they talked. What they said, I don't know. And we're led to believe not much of anything was said, but both Shanti, our Board of Supervisor, or the gathering, neither one of them came to the city council and said, hey, this is the intent.
Oh, that's correct. Now, what went on between Shanti, and by the way, both Shanti and Holly are, not only are they colleagues of mine, but they're both in my Rotary Club.
Well, there's Rotary rules here. We can't.
Well, and we had Paul Joyner and Stan Nader in our
Oh,
Rotary
that
Club.
is
So something about
hilarious.
Rotary that attracts, politicians, I think. But in any case,
I'm not in a Rotary.
come on, I'll take you for
Can,
free
can, I,
lunch.
can I get
Come on.
in?
Yeah, so this is the thing. It's
So it's got to be tough, though, when you have people that you're friends with and people that you support that now are running against one another in doing that. But what I've done is I've invited them both on.
right.
And just to bring clarity, let's ask the tough questions and let's get clarity. And as you know, Holly has agreed to come on. She wants to answer. She's not afraid of those tough questions. Shanti Landon has decided not to come on. That I think let me just be honest. Can I be honest with you? The part that's rubbing me wrong on this whole deal is when you're being accused of hiding stuff and not answering questions and being shady, that's not the time to be more hiding and more shady. That's when I would say, don't be hiding and shady. Like, be upfront, be transparent, be open, be honest. So the invitation's still out to Shanti to come on, answer the questions. I don't even know what the questions are anymore.
Well, the interesting thing is if you put yourself in front of the public and you ask for their support because you want to do good things for them, it's not easy. You can be a private citizen. You can hide behind social media.
Yep.
You can rail
A lot
all
of
day
keyboard
long,
warriors.
and but that's easy to do, as you know. It's an easy thing to do. It's hard to be out there, to be in front of people, to take the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, and accept it. That's part of the job. And I would say this to any politician. You shouldn't run for office if as Truman, as Harry said, if you can't stand the heat, don't
Get out of the
kitchen.
kitchen.
Get out of the kitchen. So it's just a fact of life. And to me, it's the polarization of the country at this point is disturbing. I mean, I've got, as you know, with my gray hair, I've got a fair number of decades, behind me. So I remember the old days when politicians would rant and battle with each other all day long. They would go out drinking at night. They would make the deals. Everyone would compromise, and then they would come back the next day, vote, start all over again. It's not like that today, and I think that's unfortunate for us as the people.
Yeah.
But as it is at this point. But as I said, if you're an elected official, you need to be out there for the people and walk into a building and be comfortable in saying, here's what I did, here's why I did it, and we don't always as long as we can agree to disagree agreeably.
Well, and I think here's the deal: being able to say, "Hey, I made a mistake,"
Right.
but not I'm a victim. Hey, I made a mistake. I messed up. I now see that's not the way to go. This is the way we're moving forward, and let's do it together. Speaking of facing the people, it's part of the podcast I like to call "Where in the World is Kevin Kiley?" And there are a lot of people feel like Kevin needs to go out there and meet with the people and answer some questions. But you know what I like is Kevin's been doing the one thing we elected him to do, and that's represent our community. And he's out there in D.C. I don't know if you've seen it. If you drive by the Galleria Mall, you will see these little crowds of people with signs. Where's Kevin Kiley?
Right.
Where's Kevin Kiley?
He's doing his job.
Well, he's not hanging out with them at the Galleria Mall. And they're not happy about it. So, Kevin, if you want to go to the Galleria or the fountains across the street, I know there's a great place to get a pint and get refreshed. But, a lot of good things, though. I'm glad you're in office. And I'm looking forward to doing this again in a couple more months and seeing how far down we're getting.
Because things are happening.
Yeah.
And I'm always glad to come on here. Always glad.
And thank you to each and every one of you for taking a moment, jumping on, journeying with us today. Make sure you do those ever important things like share, follow, subscribe, and then tag somebody, send it to somebody, and then ultimately
Donate.
let's make Placer County awesome.